Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Mike on the Mic, Boston Sports Talk with your host Mike Molyneux, where I'll be talking everything Boston sports, Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, all right here on my web show. So here it is, Eastern Conference Finals, Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat. Game one being tonight at 8:30 in Miami. This is the matchup everyone's been looking forward to. Everyone called this matchup at the beginning of the postseason, especially with the Bulls going out and losing Derrick Rose. People have been looking forward to this matchup, and a lot of people wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think the Celtics or the Heat players would have it any other way. Two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference meeting up in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm expecting a good series personally. But when you talk to a lot of ESPN experts in analysis, they all predict, Heat in 5, Heat in 6, Heat in 7. I was just looking over a list of ESPN experts on ESPN.com, and all of them predict the Heat are taking the series and moving on to the finals, rolling over the Celtics. Even Stephen A. Smith, he gave an interview after the game, and I watched it, and he said, no disrespect to the Celtics at all, but he expects the Heat to steamroll right over the Celtics en route to the finals. And I can honestly understand why a lot of people will predict this. The Heat have been playing well all season long, and then they go through the postseason, they lose Chris Bosh, and you would figure that's a big loss for them, even though they still have LeBron James, the MVP, and Dwayne Wade. Chris Bosh is a big loss for them, but as they shown in the last series against Indiana Pacers, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade really played at a high level, especially Dwayne Wade after having an off game or two in that series. He really stepped up for the last three that they played, and really just finished off the Indiana Pacers. And you think with that, they moving into this series with a lot of confidence, a lot of motivation, and are ready to do what they did against the Pacers. LeBron James and Wade against the Celtics in this upcoming series. But me, not just because I'm a hardcore Boston Celtics fan, but I honestly feel like the Celtics have a chance in this series, and it's not going to be a sweep or a quick 5 games or 6 or 7. I think the Celtics honestly have a chance in this series. Now, with that being said, I think it's going to be tough for the Celtics to, really fight to try to win this series over the Heat. Now you look at the Celtics team, they lose Avery Bradley for the rest of the postseason. Big loss, best on-ball defender on the team, even a better on-ball defender than Rondo, even though Rondo gets a lot of credit for being this great defender. But in all honesty, Rondo is not a great on-ball defender. If you've seen the last couple of games, Game 6 in Philadelphia, where Drew Holiday was just killing him offensively, going right past him to the rack, it's clear to see Rondo's not a great on-ball defender. But the loss of Avery Bradley really hurts the Celtics. They would put Avery Bradley on Wade and try to slow him down, and I think Avery Bradley could do that. He'd do a decent job. He wouldn't completely shut down Wade, but do enough to slow him down. But not having Avery Bradley really hurts the Celtics defensively. You still got Paul Pierce, who's hurt. Ray Allen, who's back in the starting lineup since Avery Bradley's gone, he's hurt. And them two guys are the ones that have to cover Dwayne Wade and LeBron James for the majority of the game. And you got one guy with a bad foot, another guy with a bad knee. It's not going to make it any easier for those two guys to cover Wade and James throughout the series. We on defensively, you'll need a big games from Kevin Garnett and Brandon Bass, down low in the paint. One thing about the Heat is with LeBron James and Wade, they love to attack the basket. And if you have Garnett and Bass, or bringing Hollins or Steensma off the bench, you got those guys standing tall in the paint. You got to make it tough for these two dudes to just drive to the basket with no regard. No easy baskets, no easy layups, no easy dunks, none of that. Offensively, if you look at the game, the two advantages the Celtics definitely have is is Rondo and Kevin Garnett. Rondo has shown that offensively he's not an easy cover. I mean, defensively he's not an easy cover. And I think he's given problems to the Heat over the last couple games, last couple seasons. He's faced them, and Chalmers can't hang with Rondo. It's clear to see. And their backup point guard Norris Cole, I don't think you can hang with Rondo either. So I think Rondo's going to be a guy in this series who has to have big games, be aggressive offensively, attack the basket as much as he can to really help out in the Celtics' success in this series. And also Kevin Garnett as well. I mean, even though Bosh is out the series, Garnett can still give problems to Bosh even if he was still playing. But with Bosh gone, Haslam will be covering probably, or Joel Anthony. And I think Garnett can definitely take advantage of those two guys down in the post as long as he stays down in the post. We saw in the last couple of games against the Sixers where Garnett had a tendency to take a lot of outside jump shots. And in this series, we honestly don't need him to do that. I mean, he can clearly knock him down. I'm not saying he can't, but I think his best option this series is to work down in the post against those guys and really use his post moves to the best of his ability to get easy baskets over the Heat interior. But when it comes down to it, we will need Paul Pierce to step up and play. I mean, even with the knee injury, he's shown that at times he can still get baskets, drive the lane, get to the foul line, make his shots. He's shown that he can still do that. Will it be tougher against LeBron James, first team all defensive? Yeah, it will be, but this is Paul Pierce, the truth. He's done it in the past. He's done it this postseason, and I still think he can continue to do it, whether it be LeBron James or whoever else is covering him. And also, we'll definitely need Ray Allen to wake up from the shooting slump that he's having. A lot of people. Let me get on my boy Ray Allen real quick. A lot of people saying Ray Allen is done. He's old. He's tired. He can't do it no more. Here's the thing. Ray Allen is hurt. He has a bad foot, and it is messing up his jump shot. It's even at the free throw line, people saying, oh, he's missing a lot of free throws now, something's wrong. Ray Allen is hurt. He has a bad foot, and it's messing up his jump shot. He's not getting the same form that he can because every time he goes up for the shot, he has that burning kind of pain in his foot. Now, does that mean Ray Allen still is maybe slowing down a little bit? He's getting old. True, that's all true. But one of the main factors, this is the guy who's probably in one of the best shapes out of any other NBA player in the league. People always talk about Ray Allen. He's a gym rat. He's always 2 hours before the game shooting around, stays in the gym, a million jump shots before he leaves the gym, all that type of stuff. But is he slowing down? Yes, that's true. But he's playing hurt at the moment and is messing his game up a little bit. But I still believe Ray Allen has a game in him where he'll be clutch for the Celtics and knock down key baskets or maybe even a game winner like he's done in the past. He's shown in Game 7 he was cold all game long, but he had two crucial threes late in the fourth quarter that really helped the Celtics stay on top of the Sixers in that Game 7. And I still believe moving forward in this postseason, Ray Allen will have another game like that where he'll have more than two crucial threes. He'll break out in one of these games, I guarantee, coming up. So look out for my boy Sugar Ray to do his thing this postseason. But all in all, it's going to be a great matchup. It's tough for me to predict because as much as I believe in the Celtics, I understand why a lot of people's giving this series to the Heat. It's an easy choice, Heat to the finals. Celtics haven't showed any real dominance throughout this postseason. They struggled a couple times against Atlanta. They definitely struggled against the Sixers team. And Sixers team is young, athletic, and playing the Heat is pretty much another young, athletic, even better team than the Sixers. So it will be tough for the Celtics, but I don't definitely feel that it's going to be a quick sweep or 5 games. I think the Celtics can give them some problems in these games coming up, and the possibility of the Celtics winning, I got to stick with my Celtics, man. They've shown that they can beat the Heat throughout the season. Even though these guys are hurt now, they're still playing. And once you're on the floor during the game, you expect to give your all. And I think the Celtics can. Only thing is not having Avery Bradley will hurt. But I feel the Celtics can give the Heat a run for their money and maybe, hopefully, make it back to the NBA Finals one more time with this big three, big four team that they have. So I look forward to watching Game 1 tonight, and I know you guys will be watching too. And thanks for watching Mike on the Mic, Boston Sports Talk.